What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Your guys, Cody and Derek here. Guys, we're going to go ahead and talk here about ranking quarterbacks that the Colts can acquire this offseason, whether that be free agency or the draft or trade for free agency, all that kind of stuff, So this one's going to be a little bit of fun. We're not taking this one too insanely seriously. Couple of names thrown in here that, people have just kind of like thrown the name out there, but, we're just trying to have a little bit of fun with it. So we'll go ahead and just start. We'll kind of start with the quarterbacks in the draft, Cody, and we'll just make our way down. We'll start this video off a little bit easy, So first things first, we got to talk about the quarterbacks in the draft and the number one from a lot of people, and that's Bryce Young. There are three categories here, Cody, that you have told us we're going to have. The yes tier, the tier, or the absolutely not, God help us all tier.
Yep. In all caps.
What is Bryce Young tier here?
Absolutely. No, I'm just kidding. He's yes. He's a yes. Concerned about the size. That's been his biggest thing. But I mean, dude, you can't argue with the talent. I mean, if he was somehow available at 4, absolutely. You take that and you don't look back, and you deal with the height, but yes. To answer that, yes, he's one of the top 3 guys I'd be perfectly content taking here in the top 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna go yes tier here with this one as well. Like you said, the size is definitely a problem, but clearly a very talented quarterback. It just depends on what kind of system you get him in. How are you gonna help him in whatever he's doing? So. And then this guy, the name that declared today from when we're actually recording this, not sure when this one's going to actually go out, but like as of basically 6 hours ago, this guy declared for the NFL draft the last day he had to do so. And that was CJ Stroud out of the Ohio State University. CJ Stroud, many consensus being the second overall quarterback in this draft. Cody, yes, or absolutely not tier here?
If I said absolutely not, what would you do to me right now?
I would throw something in here.
I know you would.
One of my soft pillows that I have sitting over here on the couch.
No, I would say yes. To me, he's my favorite prospect out of these 3 quarterbacks we're probably going to talk about that could be in the top 5, just because he's got the combination of, I think the pedigree is number 1. He's been playing against really, really good teams. And he's had success, as well. I mean, Ohio State should have been in the championship. Let's just be completely honest. It just, CJ Stroud put them in position to do that. And that's all I needed to see is like, can he do that? Does he have that clutch ability? And he did. So for me, yeah, he is one guy that he's got the size, he's got the mental aspect down, and he's got the arm. He can make any throw anywhere. And a lot of people like to say, oh, he has all these, number 1 wide receivers. But Derek, he can put the ball where a lot of guys can't. And so for me, it doesn't necessarily mean chucking the ball down, 70 yards down the field. It means like he can fit it into tight windows. He can do that. I think he's probably the most polished guy, maybe outside of Bryce Young, but he's also got the size. So I'm not as concerned about potential injury. And I think that just gives him an advantage overall. So, yes, on CJ Stroud, 100%.
Yep, I'm a yes here as well. I don't think I need to explain anymore why I feel the way I do about CJ Stroud. I think anyone that's watched this podcast for over the last year knows my feelings about CJ Stroud. And if no one knows at this point, I just go encourage you to watch our videos over the last 2 weeks, and then you'll see plenty of reasons why I think the way I do. But yeah, Stroud is a yes for me there. Okay, so this one's a little bit of the wild card here. We're getting into territory here, maybe a little different here, Cody. And it's got something where, half of the Colts fan base says or absolutely not, and the other half says yes. And that is Kentucky quarterback Will Levis. What tier are we putting Will Levis in here?
Yeah, so this one, we talked off air. I'm right there between and yes, but I'm going to go slightly to yes, just because the physical tools are there, Derek. They're absolutely there. A little bit more raw than CJ Stroud. Hasn't done it at the level that CJ Stroud has, mainly due to the team, I think, is a big reason why. But from a physical standpoint, he's got everything you need, everything you're looking for. He's got the arm, he's got the size, he's got the talent. It's none of that's in question. I just wonder. It wasn't a great year for him this last year compared to, you look at some of these other guys and you look at Levis's numbers and you're like, it doesn't really add up. But the physical tools you cannot argue with. Nobody was super high on really Josh Allen coming out, with the stats weren't like eye popping. So, I mean, the eye test says he could be a really good quarterback, but he's just kind of a wild card to me. He could be, he could not be. I don't know. Physical tools are there, but being a really good NFL quarterback is more than the physical tools, Derek.
Yeah, no doubt that Will Levis is a little bit more of a raw prospect than what a Bryce Young or a CJ Stroud is, but from a body standpoint, from a physical standpoint, you might question that Will Levis might have the best body of a quarterback in this entire draft class. Will Levis has a lot of tools and physical attributes to really go off of. I agree with you. I'm in between the yes and sort of tier here, but I'm definitely going to go yes just because of, what you might be getting there. And then we're going to go to Anthony Richardson. This is the last quarterback that we're going to debate here in this one in the draft. And our friend Jason Spears brought this up on I think it was our live stream
I think so.
Last week. Mentioned that Anthony Richardson is going to be that quarterback that either makes the GM who drafts him either look like a genius or is going to end up getting him fired. It's one way or the other. That's the boom or bust mentality here for Richardson. So I'm going in the tier here because it depends. It really does depend for Anthony Richardson. You cannot, as a team, bring Anthony Richardson in right now and expect him to be ready for this next year. You can't do that. He's just not mentally ready yet to be an NFL quarterback. Maybe in a year or two, maybe then things are different. And Anthony Richardson, from a physical standpoint, is the best quarterback in this entire draft from a physical perspective, but mentally, he needs to grow a little bit more in that regard. What do you say?
It's very raw, but very, very talented. You are absolutely right. I almost see this as a quarterback that, say Matt Ryan worked out and the Colts, maybe made the playoffs and, won 10, 11 games or something like that. That's the kind of quarterback that I look in those, maybe you trade up in the mid-teens and you go get. But not a team that finished with 4 wins, that needs good quarterback play now. Needs a guy that's ready now. So for me, unless you find a scenario where you maybe get a vet quarterback out there and then you trade down, get some more picks and get Richardson, I could maybe see a scenario there, but not with these 3 guys still on the board. It just, for the Colts, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, we are now shifting into the free agent quarterbacks at this point. And this is going to be fun. We're just going to throw this name out here, Cody, because it's just going to be funny to watch people react. Derek Carr. Why don't you go ahead and give me what tier you're talking here?
You already know what tier I'm going to give it. I
want to hear you say it.
Absolutely not, and God help us all. I don't think he's a bad quarterback, but no, not another retread. I cannot do it.
Colts fans, we have endured too much, man. Any retread quarterback at this point is just a no.
We have PTSD, I think.
Yeah, I think we're at that point where we've done that. And there's a couple of legitimate reasons why Derek Carr shouldn't be a consideration here. Well, for one, like you said, it's a retread thing. That's the problem. Derek Carr is about to be 32 years old. He's not getting younger. He is on the back end of his career now. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback now because of his age, but I'm saying he's not going to get any better than what he is currently from this point forward. But the other problem is, dude's got to get paid $40 million. $40 million. Ain't no way the Colts are about to pay $40 million for Derek Carr right now. Ain't no way.
They're going to have to eat all that cap for Matt Ryan already. So no way are they taking on a big contract for a quarterback. There's just no way they can do that. So no.
Yeah.
For all
There's
those
only
reasons.
two teams right now that I think would actually take on that contract to Derek Carr. And that is the Jets and the Panthers. And I know the Jets already off the top of my head because the Jets owner has already stated that he is perfectly willing to spend money on a veteran quarterback. So so clearly, the Jets might be the perfect destination for Derek Carr.
How the heck can you sell a fan base on Derek Carr? You can't at this point.
Well, you can sell one. You can sell one that doesn't have PTSD of a veteran quarterback.
There is no way that Jim Irsay will allow Chris Ballard to go in, get Derek Carr, pay him that kind of money, and think everything's fine at quarterback. Like I think Lucas Oil will burn down before that happens, Derek. Like I'm not even joking.
That's the thing though. When it comes to that, I would believe that if Derek Carr came to Indianapolis, I do believe that they would end up getting into the playoffs. I do believe that would be the case, but the playoffs would be the most, and I'm talking first round. I'm not talking any further. That's my problem. So, I don't see it going much further than that. Now while we're on the topic of quarterbacks in New York, let's talk about the one that's about to be shipped out of there, that we all seem to think, Zach Wilson. For me, it's not even an absolutely not. It's a hell nah category. Okay. That's the tier that I'm in for Zach Wilson. What about you, Cody? What tier are we talking for Zach Wilson right now?
Can we go lower than that?
I don't know what's worse.
It's to the point where I'm like, why did we even bring up his name? No, absolutely not. There's no way you bring in Zach Wilson. No, thank you. I'd rather bring in Jacoby Brissett for another year, to be honest with you.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Absolutely. Okay, so next name that we have, that is Lamar Jackson. Was a name that, has been thrown around all season. There's questions about whether or not he's going to get a long-term deal from the Ravens going forward. That again, this all comes down to if he even hits free agency at this point. But what do you say, Cody, when it comes to the tier for Lamar Jackson?
I'd be open to it, but I understand if you don't, because you're going to probably have to trade for him, right? I would think. I don't think the Ravens just give him away for free, right? I don't know, do they franchise tag him and then try to trade him? I don't know what they would do there, but yeah, it just seems like it's a complicated situation. You're going to have to pay him a lot of money, kind of going back to the salary thing. Can you afford to do that again? You probably could. You can manipulate the cap all you want, but I don't know. He's a great quarterback, but I don't know. I'm really torn on this one. I'm very torn on this one. What do you say? Maybe you can give me a little bit of a perspective here.
Yeah, I'm more of the, it's an sort of thing, because the only problem I have with the Lamar Jackson thing is just because of the contract that you're going to have to give him, and that's the only thing that concerns me is Lamar Jackson, is going to get paid $50 million, that he's going to get paid $50 million, almost all of it in guarantee money. And I question, how good is he actually going to play once that contract hits? I mean, it's the question that we always get. How does a quarterback play after the big money comes in? Like what happens? And we've seen Lamar get, hurt a few times recently, and it's not been a great scenario for him going forward. And I don't doubt the player, I don't doubt the man, I don't doubt the character. Just the only problem is, again, when you get paid that kind of money, the Colts are they're locked in for a long, long time. And then on top of it, you got to hope that the production goes with the contract. And, I know you and I talked about it off air a little bit. We're like, why couldn't it just be nice to just get our guy and not have to pay him $50 million right off the bat? Like that would be nice.
Can we be like every other franchise and draft a guy, build around him, and let it be what it is? I mean, the thing with Lamar, though, is like he's an instant impact player. From day one, he's going to make a difference on your team. And you just can imagine having him and Jonathan Taylor and just all the ways. Say you hire Ben Johnson, for example, like the ways that you could get creative would just be something that we haven't seen in Indianapolis in a long time, Derek. So that is the appeal to Lamar, absolutely, but I'm torn on it because it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. It's going to. But is it worth it? If you really feel like it's worth it, I'd be all right with it. I think I would. I think I could talk myself into it.
Now, just for the giggles of this, Sam Ellinger. Want to tell me what kind of category we're talking about here for Sam Ellinger if the Colts decide to just run with Sam?
Yes, as a backup. I'd be all right with him as a backup. Maybe a third string. Not the starter. Absolutely not. No thanks. I don't think he necessarily got a fair shake all the time with the Colts this last year, but let's be honest, he's not the guy. He's not the guy. So I'm good. I'm honestly good if you move on from every single quarterback in your current roster. I'd be fine with it. I'm kind of 50-50 on Sam, honestly. So I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm in the absolutely God help us all with this one because
as a starter, yeah.
As the starter, absolutely. Just one more, just for the fun of it, because I just thought of this at the last second, Cody.
Oh boy,
Baker Mayfield.
Oh no,
I know people were talking about it. They were talking about it when he won that first game with the Rams off 2 days of practice. And then Colts Nation was just like, we got to go get Baker Mayfield. What tier are we talking with Baker Mayfield here?
No. Why would we even ask that question? No.
I listen, I just had to because, Colts Nation went crazy when, he beat a trash Raiders team,
And that's where we're at, we're willing to accept that kind of quarterback play. That's how desperate we've been for good quarterback play this year. I never thought we'd reach this level, but here we are.
Yeah, it is what it is. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Let us know your thoughts ranking these quarterbacks, how you would rank these guys, what kind of tier you would put them in. But feel free to leave a comment. Be sure to like. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.